The galaxy was quiet. Not peaceful, just quiet. For thousands of years, powerful empires ruled the stars. Massive fleets guarded their borders. Advanced weapons kept order. Every system had its place, and every species knew its limits. Among them, humans were nothing special. They were new. Young. Still learning. The Galactic Council often spoke about them in calm voices. Harmless. Slow. Not a threat. Humans stayed in their space. They traded. They explored. They avoided conflict. And because of that, everyone ignored them. But silence can be dangerous. Because sometimes, silence means preparation. It started without warning. No explosion. No attack. Just a message. Across the galaxy, every major station, every warship, every control center suddenly received the same signal. It did not travel through normal channels. It did not follow known technology. It simply appeared. No source. No direction. No explanation. Commanders stared at their screens. Scientists tried to trace it. Engineers ran system checks. Nothing worked. The message stayed. Clear. Simple. Impossible to ignore. You have declared war. We accept. At first, there was confusion. Then disbelief. Then fear. The Galactic Council immediately called an emergency meeting. Voices filled the chamber. We declared no war. This must be a mistake. Who sent this? No known system can do this. The message had no signature. But everyone felt the same thing. A cold feeling. A silent warning. Because only one species would respond like that. Humans. But we have not attacked them, one council member said. Another answered quietly, are you sure? Silence filled the room. Records were checked. Fleet movements reviewed. Border activity scanned. Then they found it. A small report. Ignored. Buried. Forgotten. A minor alien fleet had moved near a human colony. Not a full attack. Just pressure. A show of strength. Just to remind them of their place. No official order. No council approval. Just one commander's decision. And now, the entire galaxy might pay for it. Far from the central systems, in deep space, something moved. Sensors began to detect strange signals. At first, they were weak. Almost nothing. Then they grew stronger. Long-range scanners picked up shapes. Large ones. Too many. Ships. Thousands of them. They were not using known engines. No warp trails. No energy spikes. They moved silently. As if space itself was carrying them. Observation stations tried to communicate. No reply. They sent warnings. No response. The ships did not change course. They did not slow down. They did not stop. They just kept coming. Back at the council, panic began to rise. This is not normal fleet movement. This is not defense. This is not negotiation. One old commander looked at the data for a long time. Then he said something that made the room go cold. This is not a reaction. Everyone turned toward him. It is too fast. Too organized. Too precise, he continued. This was ready before the message. No one spoke. Because they understood. Humans did not build fleets this fast. They did not prepare like this overnight. This meant only one thing. They were already ready. For war. Days passed. More systems reported the same thing. Silent fleets. Moving together. Perfect formation. And then, the first border system went dark. No explosion. No distress signal. No battle reports. Just silence. When a scout ship arrived, it found nothing destroyed. Stations were intact. Ships were still there. But everything was under control. Human control. No chaos. No damage. Just complete takeover. Clean. Fast. Perfect. The galaxy had seen war before. It was always loud. Always messy. Always full of fear. This was different. This was quiet. And that made it worse. Because now, everyone understood something terrifying. Humans were not angry. They were not reckless. They were not desperate. They were calm. And calm enemies are the most dangerous. As more systems fell, the truth spread faster than any signal. From station to station. From fleet to fleet. From world to world. A single thought echoed across the stars. We made a mistake. But it was too late. Because the message had already been sent. And humanity had already answered. The galaxy had faced wars before. Loud wars. Bright wars. Wars filled with fire, noise, and chaos. But this was something else. There were no battle cries. No warnings. No negotiations. Only movement. Human fleets continued to advance through space like shadows. Silent. Steady. Unstoppable. Every system that detected them reported the same thing. Thousands of ships. Perfect formation. No signals. No hesitation. They did not rush. They did not slow down. They moved with purpose. As if every second, every position, every outcome was already decided. At the edge of one outer system, an alien defense fleet prepared for contact. Hundreds of warships lined up across the stars. Weapons charged. Shields at maximum. Commanders ready. This will be a warning battle, one officer said. We show strength. They retreat. That had always worked before. Then the human fleet arrived. At first, nothing happened. The two forces faced each other across empty space. Silent. Still. Then the alien fleet opened communication. This is restricted space. Turn back immediately. No reply. They repeated the message. Still nothing. A final warning was sent. Weapons were armed. Firing solutions locked. Then the order came. Fire. Beams of energy crossed the darkness. Missiles launched in waves. Explosions lit up space. And yet, nothing changed. The human fleet did not break formation. Not a single ship moved out of place. Then, slowly, they responded. Not with chaos. Not with panic. With precision. Small bursts of light appeared from human ships. Not large weapons. Not dramatic attacks. Simple. Controlled. Accurate. Within seconds, alien ships began to fail. Not explode. Not burn. Just shut down. Engines stopped. Weapons went silent. Shields collapsed. Entire ships drifted helplessly in space. Commanders shouted orders. Restore power. Redirect systems. Counterattack. Nothing worked. Every move they made, the humans had already predicted. Every defense they activated, the humans had already bypassed. It was not a fight. It was control. Within minutes, the entire alien fleet was disabled. Hundreds of ships. turned into silent metal in the dark. And the human fleet? Still untouched. Not a single ship lost. Not even damaged. The survivors watched in disbelief. Fear replaced pride. Confusion replaced confidence. "What are they?" one officer whispered. No one answered. Because no one knew anymore. Reports spread quickly across the galaxy. Fleet after fleet, defeated the same way. No destruction. No mercy. No resistance. Just complete domination. Systems began to surrender without fighting. Some shut down their defenses. Some opened communication channels. Some begged for peace. But the human fleets never responded. They did not accept surrender. They did not reject it. They simply continued. Moving deeper. Closer to the core. Closer to the most powerful empires. Back in the Galactic Council, panic turned into fear. This is impossible. No species fights like this. This is beyond technology. One scientist looked at the data again and again. Then said quietly, "They are not fighting us." Everyone turned. "They are controlling the battlefield before we even act." Silence filled the room. That meant only one thing. The war was already decided. The galaxy just didn't realize it yet. Far away, hidden behind layers of unknown space, more human ships began to move. Even larger. Even stronger. And for the first time, the galaxy understood something terrifying. This fleet they were seeing was only the beginning. Because humanity did not go to war unprepared. They went to war. To finish it. And nothing in the galaxy was ready for what was coming next. Fear spread faster than any fleet. It moved through whispers, secret reports, and hidden messages. Because now, the galaxy was no longer asking what is happening. They were asking something far worse. Why are humans doing this? At the center of the galaxy, inside the Galactic Council, tension filled the air. No one spoke loudly anymore. No one argued. Because deep down, they all knew something was wrong. There was something they were not saying. Something they had buried long ago. An old archive was opened. Locked records. Restricted files. Data that had not been touched for decades. At first, the files seemed incomplete. Broken. Almost erased. But slowly, a story began to appear. Years ago, before humans joined the galaxy, there was an incident. A quiet operation. Never announced. Never recorded officially. A powerful alien faction had discovered Earth. At that time, humans were still developing. Still divided. Still learning about space. The faction saw an opportunity. An easy victory. A simple expansion. They will fall quickly, their commander had said. No need for full invasion. Just a test strike. And so, they attacked. Not a full war. Just enough to weaken humanity. To control them. To make them submit. But something unexpected happened. Humans did not surrender. They did not run. They did not beg. They fought. At first, they were unorganized. Slow. Unprepared. But humans learn fast. Very fast. Within months, they adapted. They studied enemy weapons. They improved their defenses. They changed their strategies. And then, they started winning. The alien faction lost ships. Then fleets. Then entire bases. Panic spread among them. This was supposed to be easy. But humans were not like other species. They did not follow patterns. They did not repeat mistakes. Every battle made them stronger. Every loss made them smarter. And then came the moment that changed everything. Humans stopped defending. They attacked. Not randomly. Not blindly. With precision. With planning. With purpose. The alien faction was not ready. Within a short time, they were destroyed. Completely. No survivors. No signals. No history. As if they never existed. The Galactic Council found out. And they were afraid. Because if the galaxy learned the truth, everything would change. So they made a decision. They erased it. All records. All evidence. All data. They removed the enemy faction from history. And more importantly, they hid what humans had become. Humans were invited into the galaxy later. Watched carefully. Observed quietly. And for years, humans stayed calm. Peaceful. Controlled. The council believed the danger had passed. They were wrong. Because humans never forgot. They remembered the attack. The loss. The threat. And they prepared. Not for revenge. But for the next time someone made the same mistake. Back in the present, the council chamber was silent. The truth was now clear. This war, one member whispered. It didn't start now. Another answered slowly. It started years ago. No one argued. Because outside the chamber, more systems were falling. Human fleets moved with the same calm precision. No anger. No chaos. Just execution. And now, everyone understood something terrifying. This was not revenge. This was a lesson. A lesson planned long ago. And the galaxy was finally being forced to learn it. Because the one thing the council tried to hide was now impossible to ignore. Humans do not forget. And when history repeats itself, they make sure it ends differently. The galaxy had only one hope left. The strongest empires. For centuries, they had ruled the stars. Their fleets were massive. Their weapons unmatched. Their commanders undefeated. If anyone could stop humanity, it was them. A final alliance was formed. Old enemies stood side by side. Ancient rivalries were forgotten. Thousands of warships gathered near a dying star. A place chosen carefully. Open space. No escape routes. No hiding. This is where we stop them, the High Commander said. Across the battlefield, the human fleet arrived. Larger than ever. Silent as always. No message. No warning. Just presence. The two sides faced each other. For a moment, time felt frozen. Then the battle began. Alien fleets fired first. Energy beams tore through space. Missiles flooded the battlefield. Explosions lit up the darkness like burning stars. This time, it looked different. Some human ships were hit. Shields flickered. A few vessels slowed down. For the first time, the galaxy felt hope. They can be damaged. They can be stopped. Commanders pushed forward. More firepower. More pressure. But then, everything changed. Human ships shifted formation. Not randomly. Not in panic. In perfect synchronization. They moved like one mind. One system. One plan. New patterns formed. Lines broke apart. Circles closed in. Alien targeting systems began to fail. Signals scrambled. Weapons locked onto empty space. Confusion spread across the battlefield. What are they doing? Why can't we track them? Because the humans were not just reacting. They were controlling everything. Suddenly, human ships accelerated. Faster than before. Too fast. They slipped through enemy lines. Not to destroy, but to disable. Precision strikes hit command ships. Communication towers collapsed. Navigation systems failed. Within moments, the Alliance lost coordination. Orders stopped. Signals vanished. Fleets that once moved as one became lost pieces in the dark. And then, the real attack began. Human weapons activated. Not loud. Not bright. But deadly. One by one, alien ships lost power. Drifting. Helpless. Some tried to retreat. Jump drives failed. Engines died. Others tried to fight back. Weapons refused to respond. It was over before they realized it. Thousands of ships. Defeated. Not destroyed. Controlled. Silence returned to the battlefield. The human fleet regrouped. Perfect formation. No damage visible. As if nothing had happened. The strongest empires had fallen. Across the galaxy, systems watched in disbelief. This was our last defense. And it failed. Panic spread like fire. Some leaders called for surrender. Others tried to hide. Some simply gave up. But one empire remained. The oldest. The most powerful. They watched the battle in silence. They understood something the others didn't. This was not about power. It was about control. And they knew. They could not win. So they made a decision. Before the human fleet reached them, they surrendered. No conditions. No negotiations. Just one message. We accept defeat. The galaxy was shocked. The strongest empire had given up without a fight. But their leader spoke one final time. We are not surrendering out of fear. A pause. We are surrendering, because we understand. No one asked what he meant. Because deep down, everyone already knew. Humans did not fight to win battles. They fought to end wars. And once they started, there was no stopping them. Now, only one question remained. What would humanity do next? Because the galaxy had never seen this before. A war, where the winner had complete control. And the defeated had no second chance. The war ended, without a final battle. No explosion marked the end. No grand victory speech echoed across the stars. Just silence. For the first time since the conflict began, the human fleet stopped moving. They held their positions across the galaxy. Watching. Waiting. Every empire, every system, every leader was frozen. No one knew what would happen next. Would humanity destroy them? Would they take control of everything? Would they erase those who started the war? No one knew. And that fear was worse than any weapon. Days passed. Then weeks. No attacks. No messages. No demands. Only silence. Entire civilizations held their breath. Ships stayed in orbit. Weapons remained powered down. Because everyone understood one thing now. If humans wanted to destroy the galaxy, they already could have. But they didn't. And that made it even more terrifying. Then, suddenly, the silence broke. A signal appeared. The same way it had started. No source. No trace. No warning. Every screen across the galaxy lit up again. Every station. Every ship. Every command center. The message was short. Clear. Unavoidable. We did not start this war. The word spread instantly. No one moved. No one spoke. Then the second line appeared. But we will always finish it. A cold wave passed through the galaxy. This was not a threat. It was a fact. Moments later, something unexpected happened. Human fleets began to move. But not forward. Not deeper into enemy space. They were leaving. Slowly. Calmly. System by system, they pulled back. No damage left behind. No destruction. Only control systems, returning to normal. Stations powered back on. Ships regained function. Communication networks restored. It was as if the war had never happened. But everyone knew the truth. Everything had changed. Forever. Leaders across the galaxy gathered again. But this time, there was no pride. No confidence. Only understanding. We misjudged them, one said quietly. Another added. We thought they were weak, because they were calm. Silence followed. Because now, they understood. Humans were not peaceful because they lacked power. They were peaceful because they had control. Control over themselves. Control over war. And when that control was broken, they did not lose it. They used it. Perfectly. A final report was shared across the council. A simple conclusion. Humanity is not to be provoked. No one argued. Because no one wanted to test that truth again. In the years that followed, the galaxy changed. Borders became respected. Conflicts became smaller. Leaders became careful. And one rule spread across every system. A rule no one dared to break. Do not start a war you cannot finish. And if that war involved humans, you would not get a second chance. Far away, in the quiet of human space, the fleets returned home. No celebrations. No victory parades. Just silence. Because for humanity, this was never about winning. It was about sending a message. A message the galaxy would never forget. And as the stars grew quiet once more, one truth remained. Humans were not the loudest. Not the biggest. Not the most aggressive. But they were something far more dangerous. They were patient. And if pushed too far, they would end everything. Without warning. Without mercy. And without making the same mistake twice.